In this video, we will look at Nike. Nike is a stock that is owned by Terry Smith. So the idea of investing in Nike came to me when I saw the portfolio of Terry Smith. So in this video, we will look at their recent 10Q report. We will look at some of their numbers. We will look at their dividend, their competitive advantage. And in the end, we will try to come up with a fair value of Nike stock using the free cash flow yield method. So let's get started. First of all, if you want to get updates about Nike or other investment ideas, you can subscribe to the channel by pressing the subscribe button under the video. You will not miss a single new video. Okay, Nike is a top sports brand. Their competitive advantage comes from their brand. As Pat Dorsey would say, their brand is their moat, their competitive advantage. The CEO of Nike says that they have personal connection with the consumer. As a result, they have pricing power, which can offset inflation. So their brand is the main source of their competitive advantage. And using their brand, they can offset the inflation. Okay, we can see that Nike is a $162 billion company. If we look at the chart, we can see that the price is almost the same as it was before the pandemic. We can also see the decline from 180 to 103. So we can see almost 50% decline in the recent year. Okay, if we look at the recent 10Q report, we can see the revenue by region. Their total sales in the recent quarter was around 12 billion. North America brought around 5.1 billion. Europe, Middle East and Africa segment 3.2. China 1.5. We can see the most decline in this region, minus 19%. And Asia Pacific and Latin America also 1.6. So we can see that the most revenue comes from North America, and we also can see that the most decline in revenue was in China. If we look further, we can see that the most revenue comes from footwear, close to 8 billion, 3.2 billion comes from apparel, and 400 million comes from other equipment. So the most revenue comes from footwear. Okay, when researching a stock, what I really like to see is that gurus, super investors, are also investing in the same stock, and if they bought, at what price they bought. So Terry Smith, a super investor that I follow, owns Nike. Nike is among his top 20 positions. We can see that he accumulated his position during the last 2 years, and right now it is possible to buy the stock even at a cheaper level than Terry Smith did. So if you are following Terry Smith, it is possible to buy Nike even at a better price than Terry Smith did. If we look at his top 20 positions, we can see that he reduced the position in Nike in the recent quarter, but he also reduced his other positions, so I do not believe that this is a bearish sign. He also reduced other positions, so I do not believe that he's bearish on Nike. So according to the recent 13F filings, he has around 3% of his portfolio in Nike. And again, it is possible to buy the stock even cheaper than he did. Okay, according to the recent report, they have close to 13 billion in cash equivalents and short-term investments. They have 12.6 billion in debt. This includes long-term debt and short-term debt. Debt not seems to be an issue for Nike. We can also see that they are paying a dividend of 1.15%. They have very low payout ratio of less than 30%, so the dividend seems to be stable. If we look at their competitive advantage, their moat, we can see that they have high return on invested capital. So according to these metrics, Nike definitely has a moat, they definitely have a competitive advantage, and it is visible in their numbers. Okay, when Terry Smith researches companies, he looks at how good is the company, he uses return on invested capital. For Nike, we can see that it is more than 21%. For valuation, he uses free cash flow yield as a valuation metric. So right now we will look at Nike's free cash flow yield. We are using next 12-month free cash flow yield. What is free cash flow yield? It is free cash flow divided by market cap. We are using next 12-month free cash flow. If we look at their free cash flow yield for the last 3 years, we can see that the average was 2.5%. while the last is 3.5. So according to these metrics, the fair value of Nike is $144 per share, which implies around 40% upside from the current price. Okay, I like the fact that Nike is owned by Terry Smith. He owns around 3% of his portfolio in Nike. Terry Smith buys only high-quality companies. Nike has high return on invested capital, According to free cash flow yield valuation, they have around 40% upside. So if you are following Terry Smith, it is possible to buy the stock even cheaper than he did. Also, Terry Smith owns Adobe stock. He bought it in the recent quarter. According to the recent 13F filings, here's the video about Adobe. If you are not subscribed to the channel, you can do this by pressing the subscribe button right here. You will not miss a single new video. Thank you very much for watching till the end, and see you in the next video.